Prestige Master is probably the longest grind within COD Zombies. And I was wondering, how long does it take the casual player to get to Prestige Master? You've already probably seen a Total Dork's videos on this within Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, where he did how fast can you reach the max rank. However, my video is a little bit different. He's where I got the inspiration to do this video from. Go check him out if you haven't already. But there's a big difference between his video and mine. I wanted to see how long it would take a casual player to reach Master Prestige. Someone that doesn't have 5 to 10 hours a day where I can just sit down and play Call of Duty. I don't have that time personally, so that's why I decided to do this video. And I also want to mention that I played this on PC, which if you don't know anything about Black Ops 4 PC, it crashes a ton. So pausing games overnight and for long periods of time was basically out of the question. And the best way to get XP in Black Ops 4 is high rounds. So all games basically had to get played in one sitting. But before we can jump into the gameplay, we need to do the first thing, which is actually fresh start. I was level 1000 on this account, but for this video we gotta restart. And now that I'm officially level 1, let's get into the video. So not only did fresh starting mean I would not have any of my guns, camos, or levels, worst of all, I had to start with the Welling. I didn't also have the bayonet for the Strife. So I really did not have a lot of things coming into this game. And I have been someone who has played Black Ops 4 at the max level for probably 2 to 3 years now. So going back this far and essentially playing the game from scratch was a completely different experience for me that I can't really explain the way it felt. It almost felt like a completely new game, which in a way I guess makes sense. But considering that I have played BO4 pretty regularly, it was still just really weird coming back. I also had to find out the hard way that guns don't gun correctly, and not having the correct perks, well, it really messes you up. And because I hadn't played BO4 in a minute at this point, and then I came back essentially fresh, I was really rusty at the game, and I was kind of shocked. And I have basically used PhD as a crutch in this game for a while. I went down again. I don't even have an excuse. I just straight up went down. I also don't know where my ending footage for this went, but I got to level 15, so we went from 1 to 15 in about 40 rounds. Next up, I decided to play Classified. Now, Classified is a really small map, so I figured I'm not really gonna overly need much, but the biggest thing was unlocking Secret Sauce. If you don't know what Secret Sauce is, it allows you to get, it's essentially a Wonder Fizz perk. You don't know what you're gonna get, and you can just buy it infinitely. So this allows us to get Bandolier Bandit and PhD Flopper, which is perfect for high rounds. And if you're wondering why I'm setting up for high rounds, it's because the more rounds you're gonna go, more zombies you're killing, more XP you're gaining. High rounds are probably the best way to get XP in this game from what I found. And also, I'm still trying to slowly make my way up to getting the actual things we need for high rounds, like Wraith Fires, the bayonet on the Strife and the Vapor, Helion attachments. Like, there's just so much we have to do at this point. During this game, it actually made me realize the Helion is honestly not that great when you don't have attachments on it. Its blast radius is not that big, so it's not going to kill as many zombies as I'm used to it killing, which was a very weird adjustment to get used to. But another reason why I played Classified first is because there's no boss zombies, and because I don't have attachments for the Helion's not going to kill boss zombies as fast as I would like, and I can't reload it that quick. So playing these smaller maps is probably the best option, just due to it really only being zombies on the map. But on round 55, this is where I decided to end the game. The Helion was just not doing it for me, and the zombies were super sprinting, and I couldn't reload the Helion fast enough, so we had to end on 55. We're still on day 1, but I also decided to hop into a game of Voyage, because why not? I started recording this on the only day off I have per week. So there's some days where I'm able to get 2 or 3 games in, and there's some where I'm only able to get 1. It really just depended on the day. But nothing really crazy even happened during Voyage. I just ended up going down to a Kraken that I couldn't kill with my Strife. So I just decided to end the game. We only went up 1 level, but that was the end of day 1. We move on to day 2. Day 2 started off with an absolute banger. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, I went down on 22 on tag, which only got me to level 31. On the second game at day 2, I decided to load up Alpha Omega. I realized that knifing is honestly probably the best way to get XP within this game, but I didn't want to only play Alpha Omega just because I knew I would A, get burnt out, and B, that would be boring as shit if you just saw me sitting in a corner knifing. So we're gonna play Alpha Omega a couple times during this video. Just an FYI to all the Alpha Omega haters. We're gonna play it a couple times, alright? But I did have to go to the work when I started this game. So I actually only ended up getting to round 33. But just to put that into perspective, when I played tag, I went up 1 level in 22 rounds or whatever it was. And with Alpha Omega, even though it was 10 rounds more, I went up 5 levels. So knifing is clearly the best option if you want to get XP. But again, I knew I would get burned out. And again, it would just be boring if I played Alpha Omega literally the entire time. But after day 2 ended, we sat at level 35. And now it is time for day 3. So on day 3, I decided to load up Dead of the Night. I like Dead of the Night personally, but I know a lot of others don't like it. But again, I really like Dead of the Night. Nothing too crazy really happened during this game. I was still using secret sauce to get PhD. Once again, another story of I had to go to work in the middle of this game, so I got to round 57 and then called it a day there. We went from level 35 to level 42. Now on day 4, I decided to load up 9 again and actually try to complete the Easter egg, which I actually had to look stuff up for this, which I haven't had to do in a while. So trying to remember the 9's Easter egg was actually kind of fun and a lot different than how I normally play it. But towards the end of the Easter egg, when you have to shoot the symbols with the Death of Orion, I kept missing this one spot and it took like 4 rounds of just missing it completely that I decided just to end the game. So I failed my first attempt at the 9 Easter egg. But we got to level 44, which is huge. But then since I was only like 10 levels off of prestiging, I decided to actually load up Tagged or Toten again, because if I can get the Helion, this will actually go by super fast, and the faster this goes by, the better. But spoiler alert, I did not get the Helion and I went down and ended the game. So we only went from level 44 to level 46, which isn't great, but any levels we can get is honestly better than nothing. So next game we go. I tried playing Alpha Omega and I could not get the ballistic knife out of the box to save my life, and I ended up going down. So once again, ended the game and we move on. Also with this video, there's going to be some stuff that's missing just due to how much storage this ended up taking on my computer. I did not have enough storage to actually keep all of the gameplay. So the reason you saw me go from 44 to 48 at the end of that video segment there is because I actually played 9 rush mode, which is like a completely separate mode to normal, in which you're going after like a multiplier instead of points. But I leveled up 4 times from that, which put me at 48, and I figured you get a lot of XP from Alpha Omega, you might as well just knock the first prestige out and get it out of the way. So that's exactly what I did. I sat my happy ass on this corner and I knifed and knifed and knifed, and eventually I checked the scoreboard and saw that I was in fact the max level. Now the thing that sucks is you see that big old thing that says double XP? This was the only game I could play during the double XP because I was gone for the weekend. So many things went against me in this video. It's actually insane. But once I got back into the lobby, I was able to finally prestige into Prestige 1, which gives us a permanent unlock token. What did I use this permanent unlock token on? The Strife. Once you get Bayonet on the Strife, it is by far the best starting weapon possible. So that's why I unlocked the Strife. Now we move on to Prestige 2. If you're kind of counting how these days have been working, it took us 4 days to get to Prestige 1. Yeah. And that's with a day of double XP. Day 5 started off really strong. I killed myself with a grenade. Started it off really strong. But aside from that, I actually played a game of Tagged or Toten, but I got to round 60 using the one window strategy. But I got a really high level from this, and I made my way all the way up to 30 in one game with double XP. So in my Alpha Omega one, I said that that was the only day I played with double XP. I guess I lied. I didn't have that in my script. I also played another Alpha Omega game in which I got fully set up for the high round, which I even went the extra mile to get the Primordial Hands, or the Exalted. I'm not sure which one is which, but it allows you to have more ammo within your gun. And I was also using the Luna modifier to drop me max ammos, so I was basically like fully set up for this high round. Even with this setup, I was not paying attention and accidentally put my finger on the keyboard and didn't realize it, and I ended up actually dying in this game at round 55. But I was also kind of curious on how much XP an Easter egg would give you, so I ended up doing the Ancient Evil Easter egg since I found that the most enjoyable. It does not give you a ton of XP and honestly is not the best way to go about this at all. High rounds are definitely the best option. But since I was a pretty high level, I jumped into a Voyage of Despair game and got to round 55, and I decided to end the game here. And I ended the game here because I was finally the full max level, and into Prestige 2 we go. So for Prestige 2, after getting my permanent unlock token, I decided to unlock the Wraithfires, as this is going to help with like insta-kills and stuff during high rounds. And plus, with having Secret Sauce at level 6, I can get PhD and Bandolier that way. On day 9, I decided to do the Ancient Evil Gauntlet because I wanted to switch up some of the gameplay, and it really did not give me as much XP as I thought it was going to get me. I started this game at level 11 and ended up on level 18, which for a gauntlet I just kind of felt like wasn't the best way to go about it. And then I also played a quick classified game, and I only went to 32 on that one. And then for day 10, I played a Tagged or Toten game, but I didn't realize how bad the Tundra gun was just by itself and not as like a backup to the Helion, and I ended up going down. And then I also ended the game here at 38. On day 11, I actually had time to play out a game, so I played out a Dead of the Night game, and then I had paused my game to go to the gym, and then when I got back, this is what greeted me. A black screen. Permanent one too. I couldn't actually like reopen my game anyway. I like tried, nothing was working, so I had to end the game here, which was really unfortunate because I was already a couple hours in. And then on day 12, I played a game of 9. I got fully set up, got the Helion, Bandolier Bandit. I didn't get Homunculuses out of the box, which was huge. But I did forget to start off the game with the Welling, which is like a huge part of what makes this high round work. And look how fast I went down right there. That is absurd. But after that down, I decided to run 9 back because I was already pretty close to prestiging at this point. So I got to the max level using the same exact strategy that I used before. But what's nice about Black Ops 4 is you don't have to be going to round 100 to get these levels really fast. Even just playing till 50 and then calling it there, you still gain a lot of XP, especially at lower levels. So it's actually really nice. On day 13, I got to round 102 on Dead of the Night, and spoiler alert, this is the only map I got around 100 on. Dead of the Night is so brain dead easy because of the silver bullets, and I was able to go from level 1 to 52 in one game. So this actually just shows you how good high rounds are for XP. However, if you don't have the time to constantly be doing high rounds, this is where stuff gets really rough. And this is why it sucks having to start over from rounds 1 and go to 50, then, you know, close out the game because I gotta go do something. That's the only thing I wish I did differently during this, to be 100% honest. But then after not getting the prestige in one game, I hopped into a game of 9. And this also took me 50 rounds to get 3 levels. And I think it's because there's dog rounds. Like, if there wasn't dog rounds, I would be killing more zombies. But then again, Alpha Omega is really good for XP, so I don't know if that's just because the knifing melee, like the melee XP is so good compared to like a Helion. I'm gonna be honest, I still don't know how the leveling works in this game. It's very hit or miss. Once I was the max level, I went into Prestige 4, and then using this permanent unlock token, I went ahead and unlocked PhD Slider. It took me 4 prestiges to unlock it. I know, but at least we got it unlocked. On day 13, I decided to play Blood of the Dead, and I used the camping strategy for this one. The traps actually don't give you XP, so you kind of have to camp on all of these maps to kill zombies quick and also to get your XP pretty fast. But then again, Black Ops 4 just does not work on PC. I paused my game for less than an hour, came back, and it was permanent black screened again. Like, at this point, games pretty much have to be played out in one sitting because of the amount of black screens that have been going on in this video. And then day 14 started off really strong by ending a game on round 9, but then I decided to play out a game of Voyage since I haven't played Voyage in a little bit, and I was just kind of holding down my trigger and I wasn't paying attention to really what was going on, and the Blight Father ended up killing me very fast because I forgot specialist weapons are a thing apparently. So I ended the game there. If I wasn't so stubborn and wanted to play out my games flawlessly, I probably would have had this video done 2 weeks faster, but I am stubborn, so I didn't do that. On day 15, I actually had a day off, so I was able to play a couple games here. I played a couple games of tag. This one only went to 35, but still gained a couple levels. And then in the next game, I'm not sure how I actually died here, but I went to 60 and gained actually a good chunk of levels from this. And then I don't know where the footage of it is. Again, a lot of stuff did get unfortunately not saved when I recorded, but for my permanent unlocks, I unlocked PhD and Bandolier Bandit just because those two are the most helpful perks that we can get at the moment, because we're going to be constantly doing high rounds, so we're going to need the Helion for most maps besides Alpha Omega, which we already have those perks unlocked. So doing PhD and Bandolier Bandit made the most sense in my head. And then I wasn't actually expecting to play out this game of Alpha Omega, but I got the ballistic knife actually really quick, so I was okay with continuing this game on. And then for day 16, since it was double XP, I somehow made the unfortunate error of going going down on Alpha Omega, doing the camping strat. Zero idea how this is even possible. I still don't know what happened, but we got to round 69 and we went up about 45 levels in just that game alone. And because tag was going pretty well and the zombies spawn in pretty fast and I was gaining a lot of XP, I just ran it back for a third time and finally maxed out my level. And then we went on to Prestige 4. And using this prestige, I actually unlocked the Helion Salvo so I could keep the attachments for it. By keeping the attachments, I didn't have to worry about slow reloads or like lesser damaged explosions. It was just really helpful to have that unlocked and just always ready to go. But I didn't even end up using it because it was double XP, and I realized I went up 45 levels, 60 rounds before on Alpha Omega. Let's just grind out one prestige in one game. I wanted to see if it was even possible. And to my absolute not surprised self, it was possible. We went from level 1 to 55 in one match of Alpha Omega. To put this into perspective, if I was to do this on tag or Dead of the Night, I would have had to get to round 120 plus to do this even with double XP. Because meleeing is so much better for XP on Black Ops 4, I was able to cut that down by almost 40 rounds. And then I also used my permanent unlock token on Stone Cold Stronghold. Even though it's only level 2, it's still annoying to have to jump into a game to get it unlocked. And now we have to talk about something relatively serious. This is when I first started experiencing burnout. This project has taken multiple hours and hours and hours of gameplay alone, and this is not counting the attempts that failed or I only went to like round 9 or 10. Even the games that I went to 50 still took at least an hour to an hour and a half, and solely focusing on this video alone and not recording anything else really started to get me burned out, and I didn't really want to play Black Ops 4 for a good minute. Anytime I would load up a game or even just launch Black Ops 4 to go record, I would just sit at this screen and not select anything. So I did what I honestly should have done, or like after the first couple of prestiges, and I took a mini break. This mini break didn't help as much as I thought it was going to, but it still helped enough that I could continue forward with this project and keep it moving. And then on day 18, I actually woke up early, so I had time to actually play a game out before work. So I got to round 60 on Classified. If I played like tag or something, I probably could have gotten to like 80 or 90, but I wanted to play Classified and switch it up. So we got to round 60 and this put us at level 35. And then I thought I'd be able to get really fast prestige because I was going to play tag, and that didn't go well. I got to around 58 and only went up 10 levels. What can you do? Only being like 10 levels away from prestiging, I decided to jump into a game of Alpha Omega, and probably the worst thing that could have happened. With just under 30,000 XP remaining, I went down and had to end the game because I didn't have any perks. So that meant no PhD, no stronghold, no time slip, no nothing. And they were super sprinting zombies. I was dead no matter what. So I had to end that game, which was not good for the mental health is all I'll say. To put into perspective how much XP is actually needed to get to these later prestiges, I had to get to round 31 for 30,000 XP. Just for one level, I had to get to round 31. This game is not fair. I'm in an abusive relationship with this game. I hate it, but I love it. So for this prestige, this was prestige 8. I didn't really know what to unlock at this point. I had basically everything I needed unlocked. So I actually went with the Helion because I needed the attachments. I thought I had done this earlier. That's why you heard me say it earlier. I think I actually unlocked Secret Sauce at that point, and then at this prestige I unlocked the Helion. That's a mistake on my part. Blame the script, not me. I got really lucky for these last couple of games just due to the fact that it was double XP for actually a good chunk of time. However, on this 9 game, I died on 70, and then as I was waiting to get back up, my game did crash. Welcome to BO4 on PC. It is a shit show. It is horrible. Because I had to go to work on day 21, I decided to jump into a tag game. Again, tag is probably the fastest map in terms of spawns. So I played a tag game out until I went down for the first time, and by this point I had to go to work, so I was completely fine with the game ending here. But I did get to round 59, and this put us at level 44. So by this time, double XP had already ended, and I hadn't played Voyage in a minute, so I decided to go ahead and hop into a game of Voyage, mainly because I actually knew how to get the free Kraken now. I never knew how to get it until I actually started doing this video. Now that I knew how to get it, I actually wanted to play Voyage because I can just use the Kraken. I don't need to hit the box for the Helion, which makes it huge. I did anyways in this game, but I also thought that I had maxed out my level. I was still 2,000 XP away from reaching the prestige. So I had quickly hopped into a Dead of the Night game just because the spawns in the spawn room are really fast and I didn't need that much XP. So I went ahead and just just killed enough zombies to reach the prestige, and then we finally made our way to prestige 9. We are almost there. We are 1 prestige away. This journey is almost at an end. I also decided to unlock Arsenal Accelerator just because this is one of the like the 4 useful classic elixirs on this game. And then because again it was double XP this weekend, I decided to hop into a Alpha Omega game and a 9 game, which between these 2 games actually got me a ton of XP, which thank God, because I was probably the most burnt out of this project at prestige 9. I was so close to finishing this project, yet my mental was in the gutter. It was so hard to log on to Black Ops 4 and just play the game, but I had to keep grinding through it, and eventually after playing Alpha Omega and 9, really close to prestiging. So I did what any sane person would do, and I dropped. So I did what any sane person would do and jumped into a tag game. Once again, it took me 55 rounds to get like 3 levels with double XP. I told you, Black Ops 4 is not a fair game when it comes to leveling and prestiging. So again, it takes a while for the last like 15 levels to actually like get your levels up. And now we are prestige 10, the last prestige to get to prestige master. Wow, it doesn't even like feel real that I'm here, because it's taken so long and so much effort, yet we're here. And there was literally nothing for me to unlock at this point. I had already unlocked everything I needed, so I just unlocked the trebuchet because why not? And then the absolute worst thing that could have happened. I had recorded Black Ops 3 custom zombies like 2 days before recording this video, and I didn't realize that OBS still didn't switch over from the game capture setting I had it on, which was Black Ops 3 when it should have been Black Ops 4. And so everything that I had recorded for Alpha Omega, because I basically just went 1 game because it was double XP, 1 game, 1 prestige like I did originally with whatever the other prestige was. So I did it all in 1 game. And then I went to theater mode to look and see if I could still salvage some of this gameplay. And Alpha Omega wasn't even on there. So I didn't have the most important part of this video. And that hurts a lot. That really does hurt. All that effort, all of this grinding, and OBS did not record the correct gameplay. Even looking back, this hurts. It did take me, if you want to look at my stats, here you go. It took around 3 days of in-game time to get to Prestige Master. And again, I could have probably done this faster if I wasn't a stubborn little shit and would actually play out my games. But even with the anticlimactic ending aside, I hope you guys did enjoy. And if you did, leave a like and sub. It is the easiest way to help me out. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. With a blunt, Juliet with a bottle, live like Jackie and Rose.